top story. That, of course, the future of LeBron James, who will play next season, but not for the Lakers. LeBron has instructed his agent, Rich Paul, to talk to everyone around the league who is interested and come back to him so he can make his decision. Yesterday, he and the Lakers said their goodbyes. Jeannie Buss and the organization thanking LeBron in a statement saying, in part, quote, LeBron James is one of the greatest athletes in history. We will always be thankful for his 8 years with the Lakers. We wish him all the best in the future, both on and off the court. He will always be a cherished part of the Lakers family. LeBron responding to the Lakers statement on X saying, quote, no, thank you. Truly an honor to wear the purple and gold while trying to continue the greatness and legacies that came before me. Hope I made a few proud during my stint. Put your feet up, relax, settle in. We got a lot to get to here. Shams, we're going to begin with you. Empty your notebook for us. Which teams do you have circled as those in the pole position to entice LeBron James?
There are going to be a dozen teams trying to pitch themselves to LeBron James ever since 6 p.m. Eastern time hit. Offers, pitches to get LeBron James because he has made a decision here to leave the Lakers, and it's not about the money. He's not making a financially driven decision. So that means that he's going to be motivated by something else, which is finding his happiness. And so what does that mean? It's LeBron James making the assessment that his happiness, trying to compete each and every day, trying to go out there and compete for a championship every single season, will take place somewhere else, that he's better off somewhere else. And so are the Lakers to build the way that they want. And one quote really sticks out to me. Rich Paul, June 2025 to me. LeBron James wants to compete for a championship. He knows the Lakers are building for the future. A year later, LeBron James has an ability to discuss a new deal with the Lakers, but before he can get to that point, he decides to part ways. And when I talk to teams around the league, there are a few teams that really get narrowed. It's the Golden State Warriors, Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Miami Heat as a prospective destination. I'm told LeBron James is not in a rush. He's in Ohio right now with his family, and at some point, he's going to have to take a real hard look at where he wants to go.
Excellent setting of the table. Keep in mind, no player in NBA history has won a championship with 4 different teams. Wendy, jump in here, fill in the blanks. What are you hearing?
Yeah, well, I think the important thing to realize here is that unlike in the past LeBron free agencies, and I know we're stacking them up a little bit here, in the past LeBron free agencies, the teams had to clear out big sections of salary cap space, and the entire league really would come to a halt while LeBron James, before he made a decision. Because of his willingness to play for a vastly reduced salary, that's no longer an issue. He can sit back. He doesn't have to slow the league down. He can watch and see what all the teams do and then select a team. The teams don't have to clear out a bunch of talent. They can load up their teams and say, LeBron, come be a value add. Don't be the highest paid player on the roster. That is a vastly different situation that opens up a world of opportunities. And so here's what I would say. If you want LeBron James, you are not going to get him by showing him photos of your practice facility, by touring him in your locker room, or by talking about your chef. You are going to get LeBron James by having a roster he can walk into and love playing with. So when I say, gentlemen, start your engines, I don't mean making the pitch and making a PowerPoint and a beautiful video. Fix your roster and do action with your roster in the coming days and weeks that gets LeBron excited about being there. And so if you're a team like the Warriors or the Cavs, your first moves today aren't to call LeBron to schedule a meeting. Your first moves today are to do something that Shams reports about other players in the coming days that gets LeBron to want to call you.
All right, let's take that and let's run with it. Unpacking these one at a time. Tim McMahon, will begin with you. The Golden State Warriors, based on everything you just heard from Wendy, do you think they have enough to entice LeBron to the Bay Area?
I mean, I definitely think there is reason for LeBron to be enticed there. Obviously, the opportunity to pair with Steph Curry during his twilight. Now, do I think that the Warriors adding a 41-year-old, even a historically great 41-year-old, can be a contender in the Western Conference next year? No, I don't. I think his best chance to contend also happens to be the best storyline, and that is coming home again to join the Cleveland Cavaliers. They've got Donovan Mitchell. They have Evan Mobley. If James Harden is your 4th best player, that's a much different story than if he's your 1st or 2nd best player. I think the Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference would give him the best chance, and again, it's also the best storyline, letting him end his career with a full circle.
Vince Goodwill, let's pull that thread a little bit. The Warriors are an option. The Cavaliers, as Tim McMahon says, are an option. Do you see either one of those as better than the other, or is there a potential other team in there?
I think Miami is a potential third team. When you think about all the lessons that LeBron learned through his career, his most fruitful, the best version of LeBron was with the Miami Heat, Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley. And when you look at them getting Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then they go and get Tim Hardaway, one of the best six-man three-point shooters in the league, they're going about the business of making themselves attractive to a player like LeBron. They always are in this championship sort of space of going for it at all times. Talk about completing the circle. Didn't he do that in Cleveland already? Didn't he do that in 2016? I don't know that LeBron makes Cleveland the championship team because of some of the things that they lack that LeBron doesn't actually help them with. But with the Miami Heat, to have a guy like that to sort of glue everything together, that's from a winning standpoint.
Sham, slide back in here. Miami, how would they make it work when it comes to enticing LeBron James back to South Beach?
They have Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bam Adebayo and Eric Spoelstra, and they are the Miami Heat. There's already a history with both Miami and Cleveland if LeBron James wants to go to either destination and go back to the Eastern Conference. But there's a reason why the Golden State Warriors have formulated a plan over the last week that included Draymond Green, surprisingly, opting out of his $27.7 million contract just days before Mike Dunleavy Jr. had said publicly that Draymond Green was going to be opting in. He opts out. His deal still is not done with the Warriors, but it gives them the flexibility to figure out what does his deal look like moving forward. And they had a plan made internally there with the Warriors. Is there a way to get Draymond Green, Stephen Curry, LeBron James, and one more guy, and that guy being potentially Anthony Davis with the Wizards? But again, there are dominoes that have to fall. There are other trade conversations that have to happen between the Warriors and the Wizards. Those talks have not gained traction as of yet. And so that is all what's simmering in the background right now with LeBron James, his decision, and the Warriors and the way that they're maneuvering to try to see if they can get a commitment from LeBron.
Windy, given the fact that the Warriors seem to maybe have a head start on this process with what Shams was just talking about, Draymond Green opting out early in the week, would you consider the Warriors the front runners to land LeBron James?
Yeah, without having knowledge of exactly how he's thinking, I think the Warriors present a very compelling case. You know, they're close to his L.A. home, close to where his family will still be here in L.A., and, you know, there's the possibility of Jimmy Butler returning midseason to give them a boost, which is why I think the impetus could be do something to impress LeBron. And that's where I want to bring the focus into the Cavs. The Cavs have a strong team. They were in the conference finals last year. If they wanted, they could be super aggressive and go into the trade market and make a move that would increase their team's power upside and maybe shorten their overall window, but maybe increase their window for 26, 27. And that would potentially be one option would be to call the Boston Celtics and engage on Jaylen Brown. Now, they have not done that. They did not use the Evan Mobley, who was a very attractive player entering his prime, one of the best defensive players in the league. They did not do that when it came to Giannis Antetokounmpo or Jaylen Brown before. But in this case, you would potentially be trading for a star in Jaylen Brown and getting LeBron James. And so I think the Cavs have to evaluate just how far they want to push their chips into the table here.
Tim, given how close Cleveland has seemingly gotten over the last few years as they continue to build towards winning an Eastern Conference championship, do you see them, should they, get ultra aggressive to try to land LeBron James here?
Does Jaylen Brown instead of Evan Mobley make them better? I'm not sure about that. Does trading a 25-year-old for a 30-year-old to get a 41-year-old make sense for the long term in Cleveland? I am certain that it does not. So, look, I understand what Wendy's saying. I understand